I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
All right, beautiful weather today. Appreciate the good Lord for that. And good practice. Continue to push forward, trying to get better. Got a lot of things got to clean up, and taking some strides in doing that. Got a great challenge this week. Proud program in App State, much like Southern Miss. You know, really proud program, great history and tradition. It's going to be a great venue to play at. And the Rock, you know, they got the Rock, we got the Rock. We're both black and gold. We both got great history and tradition, so it's going to be awesome for our kids to go there. And we're looking forward to getting back out on the field and putting a better product out there. So with that, we'll open it up.
Coach, your decision to give up play calling duties, take us into that, and why you think that's the best decision for the program?
Well, a lot of reasons. You know, just hadn't gotten it done offensively since we've been here. You know what I mean? That's ultimately the bottom line. Yep.
Do you take responsibility for that? Is that why you're?
Well, I'm the head coach. I'm the leader of this program, Dima. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that go into it. And I tell you what, we're excited about this week. We're excited about our opportunities we've got going and the way our kids are progressing and the way we're moving forward.
Could you speak on, I guess, the decision to give it to both Jordy and Sam rather than one or the other?
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do right now. I think that's the best thing to do right now for our program, to give us a chance to get a spark and to finish the year on a high note, the best we possibly can.
You talk a little bit about your message to your guys this week, just kind of to rally them and buoy them, get them.
Yeah, you know, our guys, man, they're working hard, they're practicing, they know that you know, nobody cares more than they care, and it's been good to get a lot of guys back healthy, you know, especially defensively. You know, we played, I think, without 8 guys at the start of the year on our 2 deep, and now we played without our 3 best players defensively, and so it looks like those guys are going to all be back, which has been great to have them back out there, and we're excited about getting them back, and excited about the way we're working and the way we're growing.
Was it difficult at all for you kind of personally to give up the play calling, just kind of knowing like the offense is kind of like your jam has been?
Well, I'm just excited about where we're headed. I'm excited about the moves we made going forward. You know what I mean? We've got, you know, we're in year 3. We got around 28 kids in our program that have been here 3 years or more. We're on schedule to have about 57 next year. You know, we've built this thing to last with the way we've recruited and gone about it from the time we've gotten here. We've not wavered from that. I like where we're headed. I don't like where we're at right now in this season, obviously, but I believe in where we're going, and you know, I'm excited to see how we play this Saturday.
Any thoughts on where App State is defensively and what that offense will face? Yeah,
you know, they've been a 3-man front for a long time. They've got a freshman defensive end, outside edge guy that's playing at a high level. And they're a team that's similar to us from the standpoint of they've lost a lot of close games for 2 years. You know, their record could be very, very different over the last 2 years. They just missed a bowl game last year, and now they're 3-4 this year. All 4 of their losses have basically been 1 score, and so it could be a lot different. You know, so I know they're wanting to get it fixed just like we are, and I got a lot of respect for Coach Clark and how they do things.
You got some guys coming back this Saturday. Jay Stanley was out. Jalen Williams was out last week.
Yeah, Angelil Clemens. Yeah,
okay.
Our 3 best players on defense.
They're all coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're on schedule to play this week right now, and you know, we're excited about getting them back.
Dree Clark, I saw he wasn't dressed out.
Yeah, it's day-to-day right now. We'll see.
Is that the same with MJ Daniels?
I expect MJ to play. Yeah, I expect he'll play. Yeah.
And when it comes to the quarterback this week, what exactly are you kind of looking for that'll maybe separate someone from the pack?
Just same thing anybody's looking for. You know, just production, drive it and score, and you know, put points on the board, protect the football, normal football things. You know.
At any point, do you consider throwing your younger quarterbacks out there to see if they get time? Possibly.
I think everything's on the table at this point. Yep.
What do you think is going to take to get Frank Gore going a little bit more in the running game? Obviously, he was such a weapon for you guys the past few years. You know?
I think just a cumulative of a lot of things. You know what I mean? We've got to play better as a whole around him, and then he's got to play better. You know, combination of all of it. You know what I mean? So, you know, for any one player to have any success in football, 10 other guys also have to have success usually. And but he's also got to have success too. You know, so you know, we've all just got to play a little bit better, and I'm excited to watch us play this weekend.
Coach.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Will.
Appreciate it.
Well, I guess how did you come to find out that Coach Hall was going to switch play calling, give you that responsibility? Can you kind of talk about how it came about for you?
Yeah. So Coach Hall pulled me and Coach Greg into his office and just kind of talked what he was thinking about doing, and then he finally made the decision that he's going to turn it over to Coach Greg and I. So he kind of says, guys, we need a spark, and I think I need to step away from it for a little bit and let y'all kind of take the reins. So me and Coach Greg are both honored that he's going to entrust this to us, and we got to work with the rest of the offensive staff to find a way to create a spark for our guys.
Will the play calling change significantly?
We'll see. I don't want to say anything, but obviously just from a competitive standpoint. But man, at our core, we're going to be a lot what we're already doing. It might be our own little wrinkles that Coach Greg has from his background and some from mine. But we'll see.
Have you ever handled, I guess, play calling with another coach like this before? With essentially, it feels like two OCs.
Sometimes. So when I was an analyst back at Tulane, every now and then, I discussed third downs with the old OC we had over there. But this is the first time that I'm working with somebody like this. But I look forward to the opportunity.
What's your comfort level doing that?
Oh man, I mean, it's a dream come true for me. I always wanted to be a call plays. Obviously for every young offensive coach, they want to be an OC one day. So obviously the opportunity is great. Circumstances maybe not, but at the end of our day, my job is to help provide a spark for this team and get some wins.
Jordy, could you kind of speak to how this has changed what your work week looks like in terms of maybe developing a call sheet, things of that nature, more involved with this thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, it does. At the same time, I'm always watching Coach Hall when he's doing his, and then also Coach Greg is also as well. So, I mean, a little bit more hours, but for the most part, just kind of thinking about from a call standpoint, hey, what we want to call in this situation, all right? Coach Greg, what are you thinking right here, So it's more so of that. Yes.
Can you kind of speak to what you expect from App State defensively?
So App State, man, they're very physical and defense, and they fly around a lot. So it's going to be a really good job for us. We have to make sure that we create some space for our running backs to hit through some gaps, wherever, and also to find ways to get the ball on our playmakers, like Caston, Ty Mims, and Frog. But it's a proud program. It's going to be a great environment up there. So we got to be ready to answer the call.
Are you going to be in the booth?
Yes, I will be in the booth.
What just watching the offense this season, what is something that you think is missing that maybe you guys can kind of get over the hump? What is maybe one thing that you think you guys are just missing in offense?
Well, man, if you go back and watch our film, a lot of times our drives get stalled out because something happens, whether it's like maybe a false start, right, which we just played us a good little bit, a holding penalty that just puts in 1st and 20, right? If you take all those out, I guarantee you look at our stats, we probably score every single drive, So it's really eliminating the negative plays and getting our guys and things that they can do,
Jordy, this year, just kind of watching, my perception is the receivers have had some trouble getting separation at times. Can you kind of speak to that? Is that a player thing, a scheme thing, or a combination of the two, or neither?
I think it's a little bit of both, But if you go back in that game, there were times we had receivers wide open and we couldn't get it to them because either the quarterback's eyes was wrong or maybe had a breakdown in protection or something like that. So it's not all on them. It's collaborative as well. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. It's not one position group, right? It's everybody's complete offense. So we got to band together and find a way to score some points.
Speak to what's going into the decision this week. Who's going to be your guy Saturday behind the center?
Whoever gives the best chance to win, So I'm about to say, and whoever can handle the adversity that this team's going to throw at us.
What did you think of Holman's performance last week? How he did?
I think he did some good, some bad. I think there's some throws he wished he had back. There's some throws that he made were pretty good, right? First time in some live action. Even the times he's gotten in, whatever. He came in. I think he was against Texas State, and he threw a freaking dime that almost got like two inches away from scoring a touchdown. So Holman's a competitor, man. He was ready for the opportunity when it comes, and I mean, it's good. One of our core values always compete, so it's good to see these two guys go at it.
Kind of the flip side of that, I mean, what's kind of your assessment on Billy of just how he's performed halfway through this season?
I think he's done a fine job. I don't think he's done necessarily anything wrong, but nothing necessary to where we've won games, right? So again, trying to find a way to provide a spark, So we gave 9 a shot to see if we could do something with it.
Down the stretch when Crawford gets into his 3 games left, is there a thought to maybe get him some quality experience toward the back end of the season?
We'll see, man. I say Ethan's going to be a really good player for us. Again, never want to do something before he's ready. But our job is to just keep getting him, progressing him along.
Are you going to have the final say on who gets the starting job at quarterback this week, or will that be Coach Hall's decision?
No. Everything in this program runs through Coach Hall. He will hear our opinions, but Coach Hall makes the final decision on everything.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you, Jordy.
Some day, great juice and energy from our kids today, man. Always good to be out here with them. Great weather. Appreciate the good Lord for that. Got a lot of good work in. Excited about this week. Excited about the opportunity, and you know, excited about going to App and playing a really good football team that's had some tough things happen to them this year, much like we have, and should be a heck of a contest. So with that, I'll open it up.
App State, I think I saw is 50-10 at home since 2014.
Yeah.
I mean, just that environment. Is that something part of the conversation this week? Is it something you guys have to factor in?
No, I mean, we're playing this team with our team. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously it's a great venue. You know, like I said yesterday, I mean, they're black and gold. They got great history and tradition. They call theirs the Rock, much like we do. And, you know, they've lost a lot of close games over the last few years, much like we have. And they've won some close games like we have. And so it's about us getting a little bit better and going over there and putting our best foot forward and trying to get a big win on the road.
Well, I mean, regardless of outcomes, you can talk a little bit about what you want to see, what you need to see Saturday, kind of your non-negotiables.
Yeah, you know, we got to get back to where we run the football and leverage the run. That's what we built this thing on here. We kind of lost that over the last few weeks. We like to be able to run the football, leverage the run, create some explosive plays on offense. And, you know, in the kicking game, we've kind of been even the last 2 weeks. We'd like to try to win the kicking game and continue to progress with that, continue to grow with some of these young guys that we're playing and moving forward.
Do you have any certainty on who's going to be taking snaps?
I do, but I'm not going to tell you. I just don't think that's smart for us to do right now.
Yeah. Can you kind of speak to some of the young guys that, you know, maybe not playing this year, but you're seeing things and you know down the road they're really going to be big parts of what you're doing?
Yeah, we've got a lot of really good young players, man. You know, we've only got 20 players on our team that've been here 3 years or more. Luke Rogers is a young center that we think is going to be a great player. Justin Reed's coming on at tight end. Xavier Reed's a young tight end that's coming on. Kenyon Clay's finally back healthy, who you saw at the end of the game last week. Is going to be a great young back. J.J. Butler's a young freshman that's playing well. Those two young men that we had to move from offense to corner, Zay Franks and Rambo, are learning it and picking it up, and I think they've got a chance. You know, at linebacker, Kobe Cage doing some great thing in the kicking game. Going to be a good linebacker. Cam Knox at safety is a young safety that we still got great high hopes for. Chris Hayes at tackle is a young tackle that's going to be a really good player. Gabe Cavazos is just a freshman starting at left tackle and is showing signs right there. So there's a lot of good young players. Ethan Crawford's a young quarterback that's really showing a lot of life and showing a lot of zip and can do some things. So there's a lot of young ones, man, that are really high on. That's most of our roster that are really getting better. And we got, you know, Cam Mackey at D-line's another one. Of course, the Cam is coming on. Kylie's had a really good weeks the last few weeks, and I got high hopes for him.
Can you speak to any of these guys that, you know, that may have 3 games left to play that or maybe you feel comfortable throwing them out there for some of that experience down the stretch?
Yeah, you know, J.J. Butler's probably, you know, has been playing, going to play. Cam Mackey's one that probably will. I think Luke Rogers has got a chance too as the season progresses. Those are 3 off the top of my head, possibly Ethan Crawford, you know, and that's 3 off the top of my head right there. Yeah.
Does Ethan's skill set remind you of anybody you coached in the past?
Yeah, a little bit of Levi Lewis. We started as a freshman at Louisiana Lafayette and won a big game, then he ended up being a 5-year starter. Ethan's a little bigger and more physical than Levi, and his arm's a little stronger. Levi had a little more touch, but they were both great leaders. Levi was at Scotlandville and won a state title. Ethan was a great player in Alabama, would have been the player of the year if he hadn't got hurt. And just a great leader, great charisma, and you know, good skill set, good kid.
I'm guessing probably Saturday is maybe going to be your main point of evaluation, but just in the week that it's been since you've handed off the play calling duties and now kind of going through the game planning and practicing, how do you think that transition is?
I think it's been great, man. You know, a lot of energy and juice. Those guys are really good coaches, you know, and it's been a great opportunity for them to have more responsibility and take off and run with it. But the big thing that's been great is, you know, for me and for this program, you know, there's a lot of positives of me not doing that anymore, and I can be involved, and my eyes can see so much more, and get my energy in my hands in so many other phases of the program. So I think it's going to be a huge positive moving forward for a lot of reasons.
Speak to Coach Cochran's involvement in this new setup. Is he a guy that's going to be up in the booth, or is he on the sideline? Or
Yeah, no, he'll be on the sideline like he's been, coaching tight ends. He's a great young coach. It does great with our tight ends. And Jordy Joseph will be in the booth, just like always. Sam Gregg will be on the sideline because he's the O-line coach, and the O-line coach needs to be on the sideline with the O-line. So Jordy will be in the box along with Ben Thomas, our offensive analyst. That's our assistant O-line coach. And, so those pieces will remain where they were at. Yeah. Good?
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
Talk a little bit about last week. I know you guys went in that game beat to pieces. Kind of how it played out for you.
Well, obviously it didn't play out very well.
Yeah.
I mean, we had opportunities. We didn't make any plays. We missed too many tackles. We had ball carriers at the line of scrimmage and didn't make a play when we had an opportunity to make a play. We had the quarterback in the backfield sacked a couple times and didn't get him on the ground. So, we gotta find a way to get these guys to give themselves the opportunities. We're giving them opportunities. We gotta make plays at times. Yeah, I mean, we're young at spots. We're inexperienced at spots right now. Jay Jones went down after the first 10 plays of the game. So, Hayes Puckett had to go in the game and step up and take that role. Who's really our 3 at that spot. So. We were thin. Hopefully we can get some of these guys back this week going into this one in terms of Jay Stanley and Jay Jones, and help give us a little bit more depth at those spots. But I mean, it was a bad game. I mean, we don't make any plays, and maybe we did a little too much with the young guys on the back end. But at the same time, we're trying to do some stuff to help our corners out. That you had a guy in Rambo who'd only been over there for 4 days, so you're trying to find ways to protect him at times and keep the game plan simple to allow them to be able to function and play. And then South Alabama does some good stuff. I mean, they move a lot, they shift, they motion, they're not stagnant. So there's a lot of window dressing, a lot of moving parts, and you gotta have your rules and you gotta have your adjustments and all that stuff to be able to function. We just didn't function very well.
With that said, in terms of some simplification going into the app, is that going into this week, you're going to try to simplify a little bit, going in knowing what you know now, and
yeah, I mean, we simplified going into South Al as much as we could. It was just with what they do offensively, it's hard to simplify without having to have adjustments for all the moving pieces that they have. I mean, they'll move a tight end, then they'll motion a receiver. They'll shift 3 guys and then motion a guy out. So, there's a lot more that goes into it when you're playing those types of teams. So, this week it's not quite as much of that. They still have their motions, they still have their shifts, but they're not going to move 2 to 3 guys every snap. And that's a different style of team too.
Are they 12 or?
They're a little bit of everything. Okay. So they'll be 12 and 11, but mainly they're an outside zone team. So there's different stuff you got to be able to do and align and play, and really it comes back to we got to be able to strike, we got to be able to create extension on blocks, and we've got to tear off a block and make a play. We're just really back to fundamentals in terms of that, and obviously today was more of a situational day because you're working more of short yardage and goal line and those types of things because you got pads on. So it was a little bit different day, but the last 3 days we were out practicing, it was a lot of 11 and 12 personnel split stretch, zone scheme stuff, but not a big gap scheme team. So you can kind of focus in and hone in your techniques and fundamentals on certain plays and pictures. So
y'all include whether the Noel kid would be available?
I don't. I think he got hurt on the 3rd play of the Coastal game and hadn't played since. So, I mean, you watch him when he walked off the field after that play, he was jawing with the DB. So I don't think he's hurt too bad. I'd imagine he'd be back for us. But to me, it doesn't really matter who plays back there. Whoever it is, we got to tackle him. We got to make sure he doesn't, take one to the house on us. And we got to wrap up. We got to tackle. We got to fit our gaps, and we got to play hard.
I know there's several times it just felt like South Alabama was just getting 8 or 10 yards per carry. How did that kind of play into the game planning this week? App State's another team who likes to run the ball. Just seeing that on tape, and how do you coach your guys to rebound from that?
Yeah, I mean, we got to do our job. We got to do what's asked of us. We got to strike and we got to get in our gaps. We don't get into our gaps against South Al, and it creases us. Or we're in position to make a play and we don't make a play. We've got to find a way to eliminate them being able to create space on us. especially with the outside zone scheme. You know, you got to play back into blocks. We got to fight into it. We got to try to condense it and not create space in those gaps, and gives ourselves opportunities to make a play. You know, you go back, you go watch the NFL, like the #1 run scheme in the NFL is outside zone, and the #1 way they defeat it is they strike blocks and play into people and try to condense stuff and allow people on the second and third level to make plays. So the biggest thing is we got to restrict gaps and we got to tackle.
How much just are these injuries kind of hindering what you're trying to do defensively?
Well, obviously you lose a lot of experience back there, and you got to shrink your game plan, because you got to. I mean, you're moving guys from one side of the ball to the other that maybe haven't played there ever or haven't played there in 3 years. So you got to keep it as simple as you possibly can for them, in order for them to be able to go out and function and operate. So they don't have to think out there; they can just play. Yeah, I mean, it does. It shrinks your game plan, but you know, at the same time, you gotta have answers for stuff they're going to try to do, and you got to be able to get it coached, and we've got to be able to get it done and done correctly out there on the field.
How do you think Rambo's transition has gone?
Rambo's been great. You know, he's picking it up. He's a pretty smart kid. You know, his best skill set is to be able to go one-on-one with somebody. Because he's super athletic, he's fast, he can cover, and he can tackle well. So, you know, there's stuff in terms of that you know, fits our game plan this week and fits what we're trying to do. You know, the biggest thing is we got to be able to cover on the perimeter, and we got to be able to tackle in space. So. But I've been very pleased with Rambo's transition coming over. You know, obviously last week was hard. I mean, he gets over there, first practice on Tuesday. So, what would have been a Tuesday, I mean, it was a little jacked up week, but what would have been a Tuesday practice, so it's a short week already for him to transition and try to pick up all the new stuff.
I know since, you know, Coach Hall had given up his play calling responsibilities, it looks like he spent a lot more time with the defense. Does that kind of help the players a little bit, or how is that kind of going into the game plan?
He came over a little bit during the ODU week as well, you know, it's been good to have him over there, because he's an offensive guy. He's actually been helping out with the scout team, so he's been over there helping coach the scout team O-line, giving us the look, and coaching those guys up, and you know, I think it brings some energy to the offensive scouts as well. You know, it's been good. I don't think it's necessarily changed the mantra of the defense or anything like that. It's just, you know, I think it just allows the kids to hear a different voice every once in a while. But it's been good. I mean, our scout team look yesterday was awesome. You know, he had those guys rolling, and you know, again, we're talking about outside zone, so it's not an easy thing, because everything's a track, and trying to make sure that when moving pieces are happening, of moving on to the next thing, and who's got to pick up the next thing. So. But no, it's been good having him over there.
Have y'all played anybody similar at, you know, schematically?
Picture-wise, you could say South Hal, without all the motions. Final formation picture is probably very similar in terms of that. But play scheme-wise, probably nobody that's run stretch like they did. You know, it's going to be like playing LA Rams, 49ers, that type of offense. You know what I mean? They're gonna stretch, and they're gonna get the ball moving lateral, and then he's gonna try to cut it up. So we got to do a great job, like I said, of leveraging blocks and tearing off the block and making a tackle when we got an opportunity.
So can you imagine getting to a point where y'all are comfortable throwing him in there toward the back end of the season, letting him get a few reps?
Yeah, I mean, he's still got an opportunity to play in a couple games. If we can do it, we'll try to do it, but without trying to burn a red shirt on it. No, he's been out here getting reps and done a nice job.
Will said that you guys are expecting Jay Stanley and Williams and Jaleel Clemens to be back this week, and if that is the case, what can that just kind of bring to the defense this week?
Well, you get leadership back is a big thing. You know, in the secondary without Jay Stanley back there, you don't really have one, because everybody's new. You know, Jay Jones is a guy that's bounced around a couple of different positions, right? You know, Dylan's a guy that was new this winter, so you don't have a lot of experience back there, but you know, him back there helps, because he can help get the guys lined up. He's a smart player. He can see a picture and anticipate what's going to happen. You know, you got Markel back there, so that's good. You got Jaleel back on the front, who's one of your better run and pass players. You know, you get Jalen Williams, who's probably one of your best defensive linemen back. So, like, just in terms of getting your possibly three best defensive players back, it can make a world of difference. Not only for their athletic ability, but also their, you know, leadership qualities.